Yeah, I just did that. It totally happened. You guys are probably thinking, what is up with this guy's weird ass intros now? Well, let me explain to you. Yes, Virgos like to do that. So this video is going to be about Saturn and Sagittarius, and this is just going to be kind of a prediction of what I think that's going to be about. And as a Sagittarius moon, this is something that I'm going to thoroughly love talking about. Saturn, the planet of restriction and limitations and struggle and structure and all the shit we hate, but on the other side, it's all the things we love. We get reward, we get accomplishment, we get the prize. It's kind of like, I always think of the parents that are bribing you, you know, to like be good during Christmas, which I hope you all had an awesome Christmas and holiday, by the way. But it's kind of like that. The parents are bribing you with this Santa bull crap and, you know, the naughty or nice list, you know. Saturn invented the naughty or nice list. I don't care what anybody says, Saturn did it. Sorry kids out there, I just ruined your Santa expectations. Saturn is all about that crap though. It comes in, it's like disillusionment, but it's kind of like that, you know. It's it gives this structure, but it also gives you the reward on the other side. So it's like if you're good, you get your present, but if you're not, you get a lump of coal in your stocking. And if you did, I feel really sorry for you. Look at Sagittarius on the other side. You know, we have been through Saturn and Scorpio for the last 2.5 years, you guys. We made it out. We did it. We are at 0 degrees Sag right now in Saturn. It is the big shift as of December 23rd. And here we are. We are in this completely new scope. I always say, you know, it's whenever Saturn shifts signs and shifts a house for you when it's transiting, that is so prominent, such a big deal. Like, you know, it's like you're dealing with this whole new world and range of motion practically, and it's just God, you know, it's huge. You know, Saturn is very important because it's showing us where we're struggling, but also where we're maturing and what we're getting good at. So let's kind of look at what that's going to mean. And the happy-go-lucky sign of Sagittarius, it goes full out. Stop on your brakes. Slam, stop, bam. That is what Saturn is going to do to Sag. At least I think, you know, because Sagittarius just wants all of this abundance and expansion and amplification, you know. When we think of Saturn or Jupiter and Sag, everyone always like, oh, it's good luck and all these good things. I don't always agree with that. I say that because, you know, Jupiter a lot of the times in Sagittarius is those things, but a lot of the times it's just overindulgence. It's amplification. It's like going overboard. And sometimes that can be addiction. Sometimes that can just be eating too much. Sometimes that can just be, you know, too many drugs. A little bit too much to drink last night, if you know what I'm saying. It happens. And I feel like because Sag likes to do that, Saturn is limitation. It's going to kind of not let us have a lot of fun sometimes. It's going to make us really get to work. But what also is going to work with this, Sag is very philosophical. Sag has to do with education and broadening our minds. So, you know, and that requires hard work. So that kind of mixed with the discipline that Saturn brings, areas that we're really wanting to accomplish and achieve goals, and that we're really working on the kind of things we think about and how we verbalize and express them, because being a fire sign, it really is going to want to express it and get out of its head, whereas air signs really want to stay up here and chat about it. Fire signs really want to actually put it into action. They're very action oriented. So that's why Gemini talks about traveling and it tells all these lies half the time, and then Sag is the one that actually goes out there and does it. But Sag lies a lot too. It does share the same axis. So what is this going to mean? After 2.5 years of Saturn and Scorpio, we have to talk about that for a second, because a lot of people got burned. A lot of people were very depressed during this last transit and just wanted to just die. I mean, I know that's not funny, but I feel like we all had moments through this last transit where we're just like, God, why are we alive? What is life anymore? So now I feel like that's really interesting whenever you transition from a water sign to a fire sign. It's like this big birthing, because water is kind of like the mom, and then fire is like the new baby. Transition from Scorpio to Sagittarius. Scorpio is the darkest, deepest, penetrating energy there is. So we come out after that, and this birthing that is Sag, where it's like, oh God, sunlight again after the darkness. It's kind of like when you open the blinds in the morning and you've been sleeping. That's what this feels like. We have been really in some intricate layers of ourselves, you guys. And so now we're coming out in the world to play again. Sag wants to play. So I advise to all of you, get out there and play. You know, really make your predictions, make your list. Sag loves that stuff. Well, Virgo really likes lists, but Sag wants to act on the list. So know, because Sag is aiming with that bow and arrow, you know, pulling it back and, you know, going wherever, right? So decide what you want. Decide what you want to instill in yourself and get out of this transit in the beginning. And I say it's important now because we're kind of only getting a glimpse of what Saturn and Sagittarius is going to be all about. For a couple of months there over the summer, we're going to be in that Saturn and Scorpio territory. So I know everyone's like, oh God, I don't want to hear that. When I first heard it, I was like, oh shit. But you know what? No, that's not the answer. I feel like anything that's kind of left over, I feel like during that time we're going to be able to appreciate what Saturn and Scorpio is actually about, if that's possible. Gemini is the lower mind, Sag is the higher mind, where Sag is dealing more with philosophy and debates and religion and talking about, you know, ideology and spirituality, and it's going out to foreign cultures and seeing other ways of life outside of just your own way of life and what's closest to you, if that makes any sense. And broadening the mind, and that's why broadening your horizons and expanding is so commonly used with Sag energy. Sag really is about that. It's about broadening and expanding the horizons and learning about things other than just yourself, learning about more than what they taught you in school. Sag doesn't want to know what people taught you you're supposed to know. That's more of Gemini in the 3rd house. 9th house and Sag and Jupiter want to learn things that they actually want to learn, which is often done through, that's why it's so associated with travel and you know, with going out to other places and foreign cultures, because you learn so much from other ways of life and other religions and other philosophies than our own. I mean, how can you really grow and learn anything if you don't open up your mind a little bit? Saturn and Sag is going to break down the system, because Saturn will come along and anything that's outworn and isn't working, it will break it down. Sometimes things have to be destroyed and broken and fallen away before the structure can be rebuilt on new foundation. And I feel like our school system, it's based on money. They're getting millions and millions and trillions and billions of dollars out of us. The social deficit is like in the trillions now in the USA. I don't know about other countries, but it's not working. And I feel like that is really going to come into play this transit. That's going to be huge, and I feel like we are really going to get our lives together in terms of that area of life. And it's about time, I'd say, and I'm sure every other college student out there can agree with me. Religion, spiritual topics, you know, Sag, for the most part, is open to other ideas, but a Sag gone wrong can be very dogmatic. And in this transit, Saturn is hard. We are going to learn about being more open to other views and ways of living than our own. You know, we all grow up in a family that tells us usually what we can and cannot believe. As we get older into our late teens and early 20s, we kind of start seeing, okay, does this resonate with me or does it not? But oftentimes we'll feel guilty leaving a certain institution or religious practice that we were raised in, because we were taught that that was the only way. That was the only way, and there could be no other way. This is it. And a lot of fear gets instilled in you, you know. And I can attest to that myself. I was raised in a very religious family, and but you know, now I feel like people are going to start seeing, let's start listening to everyone's ideas. Let me listen to yours. Let you listen to mine, and let's share. Ooh, location change here. Filming glitch wherever I was at, so I'm having to come back from my room now. But we all have a worldview, and this worldview that we have, whether we realize it or not, we carry that out in all of our interactions with everybody. Be it the view that we got in our family or religion or whatever, or at school. That becomes the filter that we view the world at large with. And Saturn and Sagittarius, I feel like, is going to really ask of us to step back from that for a little bit and take into account everybody's view, and to merge that with ours. We don't have to accept everybody's of our own, but also realize that other people don't have to accept ours as their own either, and to realize that this world is very diverse and this is a very complex place we live, and we all have our own philosophy, and to lose the dogma for a little bit, and to not shove the Bible down everyone's throat, or to like everyone praise Allah or whatever your religion is. You know, we're all finding our own experience in our very own unique way. I believe that insecurity is a big thing that comes along with Sag, and because Saturn is teaching us these lessons and bulmez and whatnot, Saturn's going to test our insecurities, you know. So now Sag is a lot more all over the place. It sees the whole picture. It's not as micro as Scorpio is. It's very macro. It sees the bigger picture, and its aim, you know, it's pulling back this arrow shooting into the sky, never really knowing where it's going to aim towards, and that can be good and sometimes it can be bad. And so I feel like this is a good time to start dreaming again, you guys, you know, with school is very goal oriented, and get them together, have a clear focus of what you want to spend doing. And yeah, Saturn's going to test that a bit. Saturn is going to say with these goals and aspirations, how bad do you really want this? Because if you really want it, you're not going to subsume Saturn's wrath and just give up. If you really want it, you're going to keep getting up over and over and over again, no matter how many times you get knocked down, and eventually you're just going to be amazing at that goal if you stick with it. And the ones that you don't stick with are probably the ones that weren't going to last anyway, and Saturn's going to show you that it wasn't stable ground. So I do believe it is going to be a lot lighter than Saturn and Scorpio was. We're all still very drenched from the water, and I feel like this will be a very much lighter time, and a time to really just, God, have fun again and be assured of ourselves, and to your chart what planets it's going to hit and what house it's transiting for you and what's going to happen. And with that said, I'm still doing free chart readings right now. I can't do them all, you guys, just because I am doing it for, you know, I have other jobs and obligations I'm doing that I do get paid for, but luckily, thank God for that, right? Um, yeah, but please leave your birth info and thoughts in the comments, and I would eventually I will have to charge for these readings, you know. But right now I'm still gaining practice with it, even though I've been doing it for several years. I'm just gaining up the ability to get there. So take advantage of the free readings now while I can, and ask away all your questions and share your experiences with me, you guys. I love hearing from y'all. So as usual, happy transiting and happy Saturn and Sag. Happy, happy, happy. And peace out, you guys. See you next time.